Tony, thank you very much for doing this. UFC 242 wrapped up Saturday afternoon. I know you watched the main event. First off, what did you think of Khabib Nurmagomedov's performance?
Uh, Lazy, one-dimensional. Nothing against them. Both the guys did awesome fight week. I know there was a lot of nerves and stuff. Khabib showed up. He obviously won. He put the pressure on Dustin, and Dustin didn't have an answer for it, man. So props to Khabib for winning. But like I said, it's lazy. We prepared for this guy many times, and he's a good fighter. But I know how to break that code.
When you say lazy, I think a lot of people will be surprised by that description. Could you explain why you felt it was a lazy performance?
Well, being my type of fighter and my kind of type of guy, right? You know, I throw a lot of barrage of punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. So when I see somebody pushing against the cage and not really doing too much and being active and just kind of putting like themselves as a wet blanket. In jiu-jitsu, we use that saying. He's a wet blanket. Just sitting there. It's a lot of pressure. I think you remember when I fought Danny Castillo, he kind of did the same kind of thing. But it's interesting how Khabib fights, but to me it's just boring, man. It's lazy.
When you watch a fight like that, do you start to think, okay, I would do this in this situation? Like when he's mauling Dustin in the first round, he's putting his hands on his face and he's going for the neck crank and the rear naked choke. Like, do you start to envision yourself in those positions? And if so, what was Dustin doing wrong that he should have been doing to avoid those positions?
Well, I guess that's where, for myself as a high level, and I'm not trying to like toot my own horn, but shit, man. I mean, as a high level grappler, I mean, Khabib's a high level grappler. He's been grappling his whole entire life. So have I. Now in wrestling, you're playing chess. It's not checkers. You're going to need to know where your next opponent's going to go and so on and so forth. You can't just learn wrestling overnight. You know, in Dustin's case, great fighter and everything, but I've been doing this a lot longer than Dustin has as far as like grappling and chain wrestling and doing that kind of a thing. Not like I said, not taking anything from Dustin. Dustin went out there and did a hell of a job, same as Khabib, but my style is a little bit different. Obviously, it's not always going to work, but right now for Khabib, I believe my style is actually the one that could outsmart him, could outthink him, and could outmove him, outmaneuver him, and put him in places where he's not familiar, like in dancing territory. You heard him saying, he's like, my father say, if you don't know how to dance, don't dance. Well, shit, dude. My dad told me not to dance. I'm still going to go fucking dance. I don't give a shit. Like, straight up, dude, you got no feet.
When you watch him, do you see holes in his game right now?
Yeah. I mean, but I've said that a lot. I mean, a long time ago. I mean, we're such a high level, and all I've been doing is sitting here and competing and trying to make my stuff better. So, I mean, with him, I see a lot of holes in his game, but he's got a high level team with him, and obviously they know what they're dealing with, so they're going to go to the drawing board and they're going to try to fix those holes. I think Dustin was in awe during fight week. I think that it was probably just a culture shock. I mean, how everything was, and just, I mean, it was probably just a lot, man, for both fighters. So, I mean, I think that with that being said, I think the next fight, they're going to probably have one of the best Khabibs you've ever seen. So they're going to fix a lot of holes in this game, and he's going to take those nerves, and hopefully, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't even sound like he wanted to take the fight. I mean, seriously, you get done fighting, you need to act interested, dude. This is everybody wants to hear and everybody wants to fight. You and me, we know we got to squash this shit. We got a lot of history behind this. I don't have to go and talk a bunch of shit. We already know that the hype behind this. I mean, 4 times, right?
Okay,
Fifth time's the charm.
let me ask. Yeah, this would be the fifth time. Yep. So let me ask you about that. When John Anik asked Khabib about what's next, he didn't really take the bait. He didn't mention you. He didn't mention really anyone in the cage. What did you make of that?
Well, I'm not gonna try to be here and correct you, but I'm gonna tell you, man. It's it's chess. This isn't checkers anymore. I mean, literally, these guys are in check. It's defender vacate. You got two options. You either set it down and walk away, like I said, or you're gonna have to sign a dotted line and you're gonna have to face me, and then you're gonna get a good old American ass whooping. My way.
Tony, do you feel like Khabib doesn't want to fight you?
I think that there's a lot of nerves. I mean, I'm not gonna take anything from them. I'll keep it lightheaded, lighthearted. I mean, literally, they got me. Shit, there was a lot of pressure in it. There's been a lot of buildup. It's been a crazy year. Like I said, props to both fighters, man. I mean, and everybody on the card. I hear it was really hot out there, and I was telling my wife, I was like, she said, it's hot in there. Does that get to you? And I was like, no, as fighters, you just have something in you that you're just gonna have to go and battle through it. And Dustin said it right there in his interview that it was hot, but did it get you? And he said no. He said absolutely not. we're in here training. We're putting ourselves through so much heat and so much bullshit that when we get out there, we're gonna do the damn thing. And Khabib already knows, man, and his team already knows. We've been through this already. There's no other song you can repeat, man. But this is a tune that we all want to hear, and we all want to dance to it. So I mean, he's got nowhere else to run, man. I mean, literally, UFC, they said it. You know, that Tony's next and all this other BS. I don't have to do shit. I don't have to hype up nothing. You know what I mean?
Was there anything that Khabib did do in the fight that actually surprised you? That you said, okay, you know, this is commendable. I'm impressed by this.
He upgraded some of the smaller details that I've seen in the fight. You saw a couple of the face grabs and some of that. I mean, it's like rough house rules. It's like schoolhouse rules, and like, you know what I mean, in football. You know, if you guys are playing out in the field and boom, somebody just, you know, oh man, you're kind of playing a rut. Well, shit, man, this is schoolyard rules. That's what that was. So he got a little bit more tactical as far as his school fight IQ. I mean, it's hard, man. I mean, it's not a street fight, but when you're in there, the rules are pretty point and clear. You know, certain things you shouldn't do, and the rest is pretty creative. So, I mean, props to him for doing a couple smart things in the fight. I mean, Dustin did a hell of a job. I mean, seriously, putting his back against the cage, trying to peel him off, getting good hand control. I mean, he went for the guillotine, dude. He almost had him. He almost had him with the guillotine, man. I mean, Khabib was panicked. He had him panicked, man, but that was, I mean, when you're going for a power move like that, you're going to waste all your energy. Not waste, you're going to use all your energy. And, you know, like I said, props to Dustin for giving it us all and going to a fucking different country, man, and handling business like that. And I know he's got the loss, but there's nothing to hang your head about. Fuck no. Good shit.
You know, Tony, considering what this fight represents to you and considering everything you've been through over the past 2 years, the ups and the downs, when you watch Khabib fight now and then you see like everyone talking about you in the midst of the fight, after the fight, what are the feelings that go on inside? Is it hard to watch him? Is it hard to envision like what might have been, what could have been? What are you thinking as you're watching this?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing, Ariel. You know why? Because I got awesome fans. I don't know how or why, but if you go on the UFC embedded, I mean, the whole comment section is freaking ridiculous, man. It's like Tony type of guy. It's just freaking amazing, dude. It's awesome without the support from my fans and letting me just do what I got to do, which is fight. The fans are fighting for me, man. It's fucking cool, dude. It's a really cool experience to go through it. I'm very fortunate. My family and fuck, dude. Everybody's doing good, man. We're really, I can't be thankful enough that I've went through so much bullshit to get me to this point. So it's cool. Thankful.
You know, UFC President Dana White was asked multiple times about you leading up to the fight this week and also after the fight in the post-fight press conference. And he continues to say Tony Ferguson is next if he accepts, if he wants the fight. Yeah, there's Conor out there, but if Tony wants it, he can have it. Why do you think he keeps putting that if out there? I feel like you've been very clear about what you want, but he keeps putting that caveat. What do you make of him always saying that?
I don't know. That's between my management and my agents and him, dude. I mean, all I gotta do is worry about fighting, and I'll be at the first part of the day. It's you gotta wake up and you gotta put in your time and effort. And these dudes already fucking know that I've put in my time and effort. So it's kind of hard to go and sit at the breakfast table when you know I put the numbers up. You're putting up the fucking the newspaper, boom, and it's right there in your face. What are you gonna do, right? Come on, dude. It's not Jerry Maguire, bro. Like seriously, man. It's like I went out there, I danced, I did my shit. I'm still fucking singing the same tune. It's not fuck you pay me 10 push-ups. No, it's fuck you pay me $10, dog. Let's go. Come on, man. I put in my time. I put in my effort. I'm here. I don't have to bitch anymore. I'm here. If Khabib accepts a fight, it's defend or vacate, man. I mean, that's real shit. I don't really, it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. We're going to go out there. We're going to prepare very smart. My team and I, we're very diligent in our approach towards any opponent that we face. And I've got my family and my fight team support. So with that being said, even if good old Fathead doesn't accept it, we'll get that belt either way.
So I was going to ask you, like, if there's a part of you out there, you know, he talked about George St Pierre. We know Conor's like this cloud that hangs over the division. Is there any part of you that would accept anything else? Or is it title fight next or bust? You are not entertaining any other idea?
What do you think, Ariel? What's your take on that one?
You want my take? You want my serious take?
Yeah, buddy. What's your 2 cents?
You've won 12 fights in a row. He's 12-0 in the UFC. It's a crime that you haven't fought for a real belt yet. This is the fight that has to happen. It has to be next for you. It has to be next for him. If they go in any other direction, it's a huge stain on the sport. It's a black eye on the sport. This is the fight. If both of you are healthy, in my opinion, this is the fight that has to happen, and the talk should just end there. There should be no other footsie being played with any other fighter. It should be you two, and hopefully it should happen within the next 6 months. If I was in charge, that's what I would do, if you'd like to know.
And if I was in charge, we're doing this shit in December, Ariel. You know what? I'm calling it right now. We called it already. We need to do this shit in December. We're going to let Khabib go and eat his hamburgers with cheese and all the other bullshit. Enjoy a fathead. Don't get too fat. You know I'm coming at you harder than Tiramisu Tuesdays. I mean, it's still there, man. It's popping. I got some new shit for you guys. I'm really excited.
Okay, so then let me ask you that, because I saw the video that you posted about December 14th. Do you have any indication, there's a lot of title fights that the UFC has to put on before the end of the year. There's a lot of champions that are waiting to get fights. Guys like Max Holloway and Amanda Nunes and John Jones, they're all itching to fight. Do you think it is really possible that this fight can happen December 14th? Do you have any inkling? Have you talked to the UFC? Your management talked to the UFC? What could you tell us about the status? I know it's all very fresh, but you did call that date specifically.
That's what we want. That's the date that we want. We want to go out there. We want to perform in Vegas. That's what I want. I know it could be whatever he says. I mean, literally, you got to accept the fight. I mean, literally or not, defend or vacate. Seriously, just set it down and fucking walk away, buddy. Just say everybody that, you don't want to fight me. You're scared. Retire. Do whatever the fuck you got to do. You made your money. Just sit it down and walk away. If not, literally, that's where I want to fight. I want to fight in December. I'm tired of fighting once a year, Ariel. I'll be real with you. I'm a competitor. I'm a high-level competitor. I'm a multi-sport athlete. I don't like sitting here and watching people compete. I'm not trying to move and jump weight classes and everything. I got asses to kick here. So until I get that belt, seriously, I mean, that's all we're going for. Give me a title shot or bust, December.
Could I ask you, Tony, do you already have the game plan in your mind? Like, could you give us some insight as to how Tony would attack Khabib Nurmagomedov without giving away too much? You've obviously thought about it. You prepared for him 4 times before. Could you give us some insight? This is a guy who's lost 1 round in his entire UFC career, 12 fights. How do you actually unlock this code?
Well, he pissed me off a couple times. So when him and his team circled my family over at the hotel, I owe him one for that. And then Javier in the elevator. I remember I was actually just got done with my arm being broke, and I'm at the fight, and the elevator door's open. Here's Javi, man, fucking looking at me. And I don't know who he was. I just remember he was a coach. And he looked at me, and he kind of went, that's him? And I walked by, and I was like, who's that? And I figured it out, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? All right, so that was 2. Like, seriously, man. Like, and then the third one, man, like, seriously, like, I can keep counting them. I owe this dude a couple shots to the stomach. He's got 2 coming to the stomach. I'm going to slam him from his feet to his back. And in Sambo, that's like a big diss. Now, when I fought Cowboy Cerrone, like, if you kick him on the back leg and the front leg, if you do like a double kick, whack. That's like kind of like a, oh, man, I just kicked your ass. It's like a TF. It's kind of like an ankle pick. I did that to Cerrone and he broke. No disrespect to Cerrone. No disrespect to Khabib, but I'm going to slam his ass. I'm going to pick him up. I'm going to show him exactly what grappling's all about. The dude doesn't like to get hit. There's no secret to this shit. It's who's going to want it more. It's a battle of will. UFC, December, Vegas. No bullshit. Defend or vacate. I'm here. I got my belt. I'm staring right at it. I mean, what? He just got a new one? That's cool. Let me take that off your hands, kid. You don't need that. You ain't going to fight enough.
Can I ask you about that first incident you talked about? What happened? You said they surrounded your family?
Yeah, we were checking in the hotel, right? And him and his fucking team, they're kind of a bunch of little fucking goons or whatever. And we're checking in, and my wife and I looked, and there was like 3 or 4 of his fucking teammates. They were looking at us, right? Like they were like circling us, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And then later on, my team and we had another like kind of like running with them. And I'm like, seriously. And these dudes are just a bunch of fucking bullies. I'm standing up. I stood up. Fucking Ali Abdelaziz and I exchanged some words over at the fight not too long ago, and he fucking knows exactly what he's dealing with. I don't play around, dude. I really don't. You know, and when I do, it's cool. It's fun and games. But when it comes to this fight game, it's ruthless, man. It's more ruthless than Robbie Lawler. And it's more ferocious than a T. Ferg attack. And I hate to talk to myself in third person, but seriously. The one thing this game has taught me is to never take anything for granted and to fucking work and put your numbers on. That's how I got accepted into the Ultimate Fighter, man. I put my numbers up and I put it on a piece of paper and I told him, you got to take me, brother. Let's go, kid. Put it on a platter for him. Well, I did it again. They see it, they give me another chance. You see it all the time. You got to work hard in this industry, especially for the UFC. Because it's a meal ticket, man, and somebody else is going to take it if you don't take it. So I'm here and I'm fighting.
Just a couple more things. What's the game plan as far as your management is concerned? When are you guys going to try to reach out and get this deal done for December?
Well, I'm going to talk to them right now. As soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm going to call them. I'm going to probably talk about the fight. Probably let me vent a little bit. It was hard, man. It was hard watching from the sidelines. You understand that? It was really hard. So I like to compete. So being the guy that I am and the type of person that I am, to watch that and then see how Dustin reacted after it. I mean, I know it. I can feel it in the same way with Khabib. He fucking knows the same thing. Like I said, I'll let Khabib and Dustin have their time off, you know, enjoy their time. But come Tuesday, I'll remind Khabib what day it is.
That's right, Tiramisu Tuesday. Okay, let's end on this. Let's end on a good note, Tony. You mentioned the embedded comments. You mentioned everyone talking about, we talked about it last week. Tony Ferguson is the kind of guy. But I failed to ask you this question. I feel like I'd be remiss if I don't ask you this question. What kind of a guy is Tony Ferguson?
I'm the type of guy to wear shades at night and inside. And I'm the type of guy that goes out there and fights. And you can follow me on my way to victory on IG and that little tweety thingy at Tony Ferguson XT. Thank y'all.
Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.